I'm fine. I just got on my Facebook page and saw another fake profile spamming all over it, but never mind. You know. How are you?
Yeah,
Are you
yeah,
okay?
it's just soldiering on.
Yeah.
Um, are you just looking at you reading that message that I just sent you?
Yeah, no, I read it. I messaged you back.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, no, it's okay. It's fine. It's been a frantic day. I think we'll start on a positive note and then we'll just address some of the obstacles and just like try and spread some love, without being in denial. On a positive note, are you able to go to Blackfriars Court again tomorrow for 2 o'clock?
Oh, it's been postponed. That was the first thing I was going to tell you.
Oh, how exciting! So the adjournment was accepted. The
Yeah,
request adjournment. Wow, wow.
this is according to someone who's just phoned me that's related to the sort of the I don't know. I don't want to go too deep into his connection.
It's okay. You don't need to give details, but I am just so inspired. Um,
So I've got to
both.
double check. I've got to 100% check that, and then we can put a message under the video. But that's just what I've been told
No,
by phone.
I think it's worth checking. If you can check on your phone, it's worth checking now. But I read the request for an adjournment, and I'm so impressed with the. I'm so impressed. They're taking different approaches, but they are so good. I'm so impressed with them. Talk about grace under pressure.
Yeah,
Like one of them know, well, they both know the law, but one approach is just straight down the law line. This is the law. It's incontrovertible. Here's the quotes. It's this law, this section, the other section. And the other one, it would be an absolute joy if it went to trial because the defence and countersuit evidence is just impeccable. So either way, it looks great. But
yeah.
can you look on your phone and confirm that or
Well, I've had
e-
two confirmations now, pretty much. So
so
I'm
the way
I'm pretty
you
much 100% sure. The only other way is if because I just emailed back Neelu and said thank you for the information.
That's fantastic news. I'm going to just thrilled with that. Okay, so that's really good. We did an update for that, so nobody needs to turn up tomorrow in support of that, but we can keep people posted, and it's just
Oh,
brilliant work going on behind the
the
scenes.
other good one is the I don't know how much. I can't put my absolute faith in the anonymous group, but f- but you know they've called it Death Eaters, which is a phrase from Harry Potter. They called the baddies the Death Eaters, I think.
Yeah, you said
Um,
that. Yeah.
so that is Saturday, the Unity March, and there's loads of different people meeting up at Euston Square and walking to Parliament.
Oh, excellent,
So it's
excellent.
the People's Assembly, and it's about and there's anti-austerity, and then there's boats for homes, which is to do with the river. Loads of different groups all uniting, along with the Operation Death Eaters, Operation Hampstead, and
Yeah, I think it's on one level it's hard to put your faith in a non because it's anonymous. You don't know who you're putting your faith in. But on the
mm,
other hand, they've done some brilliant work. They have. I have to give it to them. And like even to see on mainstream media that the David Cameron's on the spot now, and then the next one Gordon
yeah,
Brown, and like they're making stuff's changing. Stuff is changing, and it's only coming out like Gordon Bowden did such brilliant research, and
yeah.
so it's coming out in a trickle. But I'm encouraged. I'm encouraged. I
Um,
really am.
the one thing to get out with the Panama Papers leak and Cameron and everything is it's been apparently the mainstream media, the company which actually were in control of releasing the expose or whatever. It was like the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds, so it's a distraction in many respects. But I
When
don't
when
want to put
when
a name
when
to.
they know something's going to come out, they do damage limitation. So then
Hmm.
they let it out a little bit at a time and throw in a false flag here and there, and
Yeah.
but it's still going in the right direction. So I'm pleased about that. Um, is there any other good news?
Um, I mean, just in terms of just love, just that it is spreading, that awareness is coming. The thing about these other abusers, abuse survivors.
Yeah, let me
Um,
just light because that's a big subject. Let me just get a lighter.
okay,
And I've got some thoughts on that, and I haven't. You know, again, it's a shame, but I haven't fully followed all that survivors brutalising each other. But before we address that, I was thinking about there was there's some like Mumsy, Brenda McNamara has been organising protests since the 60s. You know, like literally working
okay,
in this field since the 60s. And I went over last April, the 11th, for a protest that was organised outside Parliament, which was their regular outside Parliament thing. And then I think White Flowers had organised one at Trafalgar Square, and another group had organised one outside 10 Downing Street, and then another one set out up over the road from 10 Downing Street. And so there was this sort of like, are we going to be here or are we going to be there, and it was like a bit disjointed. And I could tell it was all different groups, and it was a bit hard to manage that many groups, but it all worked out. Like we spent probably an hour outside Parliament, then we all went and joined the others at Trafalgar Square, then we went back outside Parliament, stopping a little bit on the way, and it's just like happy chaos. But I think everybody's got to take it up a level to be able to work together. And then just one more thing on that, somebody from White Flowers, I messaged her because she's been very supportive. I don't know her well, but she kind of got a bit embroiled with the Melanie Shaw sort of fest against me. And I messaged her just to clarify and say I was a bit hurt. And then she said, are you telling me off? And I said, no, not at all. It's just my experience of you so far has been really positive and I'm a bit taken aback. And we ended up saying we would connect and cooperate. So she's like, can we talk about Margaret Hodge? Can we talk about so-and-so? Can we do a Skype? And I just said to her what she and I just did. We started off like, you know, like a bit prickly, and we ended up saying, oh, fine, okay, good. What can we do? What can we do to forward each other's area of this campaign? And I just said to her, if we can all learn to do that, like put personalities aside, sort out little, you know, upsets, and then move forward. That's all it takes.
yeah, yeah. See, what people seem to not be able to grasp is why someone like myself, I can't talk for you or talk for anyone else, but why someone like myself would get so emotionally attached to two children that I don't know physically or emotionally or anything like it. But that's not how I see it. To me, it is physical. They're from my country for starters, but even if it was just the world, I would care for them. If there was the evidence out there to suggest that children in Australia, South America, the furthest reaches from me, if that evidence was there, like there's people in America working for these children, and there's people in Australia working for these children, they may be few and far between, but they are doing the right thing, I feel, on the highest intention of good, and lots of people are just getting that really confused.
There's a lot of confusion because a lot of the old diehard survivor campaigners, when Hampstead came along, they smelt something fishy or complicated or
I can
strange
see
about
that,
it.
yeah.
And so but the babies got thrown out with the bathwater, in my opinion, because my bottom line is always that I watched 24 video disclosures by Gabriel and Elisa. I could hardly speak for a week. I was so upset. And
Mm,
then I was just like, I'm not really interested in the personalities. I heard those children. I know from experience, truth, and I heard them. And, you know, it's not just those two children, and it never was. They named there were 20 other families, and they
yeah,
named schools. And I work also on abuse in Ireland. Abuse, you know, I lend a hand to Fiona Barnett and the Australia thing if I can. And then there's David Shurter in America and the
yeah,
McMartin. This is global. This is global, and the only difference with Gabriel and Lisa is the thing that drove everybody crazy was that the video disclosures showed their eyes and their little faces and the innocence. And to me, it's just like the innocence of children. You can't unsee that. Once you've seen those video disclosures, you have a choice as a human being. You say, these are not my children, this is not my hassle, it's not my problem. But if you've got any shred of compassion and empathy and any discernment for truth, you have a choice whether to get active or turn away. And that's been very confronting for people. You know?
Yeah.
There's still people contacting me saying they just watched the videos and what can they do? There's still people doing that a year.
Of course, that's enlightening, isn't it? That's inspiring.
It's literally that where we were last February. I got a message yesterday. I've just watched the children's disclosures. I'm in bits. What can I do?
Okay.
You know?
So we've got to be patient because I need to control. I've got this ongoing thing with my the investigation that I've got a lot of evidence for pulling it. I don't want to go into that too much either because the idiots that try and abuse us, they'll pick little bits out and they'll try and fill me with a lack of confidence or fear, and I'm facing that.
Okay, I find myself doing that every time I post on my own Facebook wall. A tiny part of my mind says, oh, but they're going to do this, or they're going to say that, or that. But then we're dancing their dance. The most powerful way is to speak your truth and just learn to slough it off when they do their evil thing with it. Because otherwise, we're reacting to them. Do you understand what I mean? If we're editing ourselves in case they're nasty, well, the truth is they're going to be nasty no matter what because we're hurting.
Okay, I'll tell you what the police have said. One of the things originally, they were so confused they thought it might have been a football team, the MK Ultra, because they called in Poland and Italy and quite across Europe they called Ultra. It's like a football hooligan sort of thing.
Yeah, so it's
and then
like
MK is the note.
Yeah, much glad back PSV or something.
Yeah, sorry. MK is is Milton Keynes as well.
Right. That's funny.
That's just close to me, so
okay.
So it's taken them a while to actually decipher the, and then actually they've asked for me to have to clarify. This is the bit that's a bit embarrassing, but they've because I've actually been speaking to my doctor about anger and anxiety as well, due to the fact that how people have responded to this and the way I've reacted due to people's lack of compassion. So I thought that was a good route to go through, and for my mum's peace of mind as well, because
very good.
I have to try and give my mum as much compassion as possible, and she's almost like Melanie in her responses. I don't know what mum might have been through, but the response to why I'm so attached to these two particular children is very insulting to me.
Yeah, it's almost like, why not? Do you know what I mean? Where's your heart if you can watch those children and not be invested? Yeah. That's the powerful question. It's not why would you be so attached.
Yeah. On that note, though, it's actually helped me to see the perspective of obviously how some policemen and policewomen will see it, the way my parents have seen it, because of this, from the same sort of teaching, the same indoctrination in some respects, without being too patronising.
Yeah.
So the police have actually asked. They've contacted the local sort of mental health place, and they've asked for sort of a reference for myself, if that makes sense. So it's a slow progress, but I've just got to jump through the hoops with them at the moment.
Yeah, no, it's worth showing what these evil people. It's laughable to me that whistleblowers are being attempted to be prosecuted for intimidation of witnesses when actually the whistleblowers are being traumatized, devastated. My 22-year-old son was so full of rage when he saw the lies that were being put all over the internet about me. He wrote a song. He's in a band, and he just let fly. The
Oh,
song is brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant, and the lyrics are something like, "You voices far away, that's where you better stay. If you want to come and face me, I'm going to kill you." Now, it's not a
yeah,
death threat, but it's like he had to find a way. He said, if I didn't get that rage expressed somehow, I felt like I was going to burst, and I felt
yeah.
devastated for him, because he was like, how can I protect my mum when they're all anonymous, they're all fake, and they're all lying, and they're all
Or
remote
even,
in space.
I mean, the name, the false account, um, Gabriella Barney is still up there, and I haven't tried cancelling that one because it gives me so much evidence. The amount of evidence that I've got now accumulated from
People have
threats and
got
stuff.
folders. There's more than one person have got every single malicious communication against every one of us working. I'm not one for details, and I don't entertain that nasty stuff. But
Now I've got
that,
it. I've got it.
yeah, that Gabriella sock account was made the day after my daughter and I did a family Skype, and so I find that so offensive. She phoned me hysterical one night because she thought, she thought they were coming to get her. It's not okay. It's
No,
not okay what they're doing to people.
no, it's coming to a top now. Have
Yeah.
trust.
Yeah. So, and then just a word about the MK Ultra is maybe not the most accurate term. There's trauma-based mind control is more of an accurate term. MK Ultra is like an umbrella name that Bill Clinton admitted to in America.
Yes, that's it.
And they had a hearing and they compensated. They admitted they destroyed all the evidence, but then some evidence was found, and then they had to admit it. And so they do call it MK Ultra, mind control, from the Nazi stuff. But if you look into Kathy Morgan's work, where she's documented all the funding, Rockefellers and
Yeah,
DuPont, Dornay, it's more accurately called trauma-based mind control. But it's funny that he thought it was a football team. But there was something else I want to say about the Melanie Shaw thing, just from a personal point of view. And again, I haven't read it all, and I haven't yet released our inbox messages. But there's a documentary about a children's home in England, and the effect it had on the children being abused sexually, physically, emotionally, psychologically in this children's home. And one of the things the documentary addressed was that the older kids, or the kids that had complied, were then trained to brutalise the new ones. And there was this really touching interview where one of the guys said, I gave that children's home boy hell. I beat him up because I was told to. I even abused him because I was told to. And they called it being a Joe. And it was so moving, because it wasn't just that all the children got abused in that home, or a huge proportion of them, but it was that they were training the children to then keep abusing the other children, to make it all, make it keep multiplying. And that like many abuse victims go on to be perpetrators, and they don't have to go on to sexually abuse, but they can go on to brutalise and to attack. And I feel like saying to Melanie, you're in danger of crossing over. Don't do that. You've suffered so much and survived. Don't give them the pleasure of now starting to brutalise other survivors. It's self-defeating.
yeah.
Why would we attack each other? We're not the enemy. So that's all I'll say. I will go into that in more depth, but I was very vulnerable and I was very devastated. And the way I deal with that is I'll read so much and then I'll just go, okay, I'll deal with that later. I'd rather get the children free right now.
Yeah, and I do believe maybe you owe maybe a bit of a mutual apology for attacking back a little bit to fight fire with fire a little bit.
Well, I'm human. I think I've actually been very
Maybe.
tame from the little snippets I've seen of what's been said about me. But I'm human. I'm not trying to take the higher moral ground. Sometimes you want to see me when I'm really mad. But I've had so much to deal with this
Yeah,
week. I don't have time for I don't have time to deal with an attack from a fellow survivor. It's like, what the, and then just
No,
I put that on my to-do list. I'm dealing with my daughter's birthday and my
yeah.
son's, medical issues and my house and my family and my niece coming to visit and, the cops and getting a new passport and all that stuff.
Okay, so I took it upon myself to try and reach out to her and explain, and
Thank you.
she did say, thank you, Jake. I'm not going to block you, but she asked me to delete the post with the pictures of Alyssa and Gabriel off her page. So I did that for her. Then I put up a post without any pictures, and then she deleted that. So I sort of asked her. I said, why are you not facing this? Why are you not willing to help? Like what? And she sort of it takes people maybe a day, maybe a week, maybe even 2 weeks to come round.
You have to give everybody. Not everybody will get behind ending child abuse. Some people will fight austerity. Some people will fight corruption. Some people will fight on the political front. Some people will. We can't force anybody. But I just want. Here we are. Here's the message thread. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I just want to read out where. Anyway, if you bear with me for 1 second, there's.
No trouble.
I'll just read some of the relevant bits, because if people knew that this was how Melanie and I backtrack a bit, when I went January 2015 to Ben Fellowes' case, I never heard Melanie Shaw's name before until Hannah said, we were doing a video and Hannah said, and Melanie Shaw, don't forget her, she's falsely imprisoned. And so, then obviously, if somebody's in prison falsely and getting badly treated, like she wasn't getting her meds and she had not proper medical treatment, she was going through hell. Well, of course I'm gonna try and help, even though I didn't know. But if anybody's in trouble, my nature is if I can help by just, I will. So that was the first, and then many times Melanie put out a video and she said, please share. I always shared it.
Yeah.
If she was in trouble, I always shot her a message. She was a bit off with me before, and somebody inboxed me and said she's really in a bad place. Can you send her some encouragement? And I said, well, I'm a bit pissed off at the moment. This was like 3 months ago, but I'll just read you the relevant. She says, I've watched a bit of your stuff on the web, and thank you for doing your bit in your way for the cause, Mel. So I replied, it goes both ways, Mel. I first heard your name from Hannah when I flew over to Ben Fellowes' hearing. Blah, blah, blah. I go into details. Hannah shouted, don't forget Melanie Shaw. I said, I follow you and I see you get vulnerable, and so I'm just being nice. And then she said, I get used and I fall for it every time because I'm kind and lonely. But withdrawing and isolating myself to protect myself makes me more lonely. I never know who to trust. See, I think she's being played. I think somebody's in her ear. And
Yeah.
then
Well, she's never been taught intuition of. It seems like she's never really had that genuine unconditional love off of anyone to judge by.
We all have trust issues, and that's why they find us so easy to manipulate. So
Maybe I'll go and meet her, because I've got links to Nottingham and she's from up that way, isn't she?
Anyway, and then she ends up saying, like, I'm sorry to put my problems on you, because she was pouring her heart out a bit. You've got so many of your own. God bless you, and may you stay strong. Love, Melanie. So you can see I was gobsmacked when this turned belly up. And then, right. She's telling me more. She's been through hell and back. This is why I really try and just bite my lip. Right. Oh, and then it turns nasty. So, but somewhere in there, and I'll just copy and paste these. Somewhere in there, she says, I wouldn't mind doing a Skype chat with you. I don't fully understand the Hampstead case. And I said, Melanie, I'd be honoured to do a Skype chat with you. Just let me like find my feet, and I'd be thrilled to. And the only thing I could think of was that she and I were messaging and going quite deep, you know, sharing vulnerabilities. And her last two messages I didn't get to because I was travelling or something happened or whatever. I don't know what it was. So whether she thought like I'd taken the piss and I'd let her open up to me and then I didn't answer her last two messages or I didn't set up a Skype time or whatever, I don't know what went wrong, because the next thing I'm being absolutely hammered. So I just think somebody's in her ear, and I think she'll come right. But she did it to Mickey Summers. Now she's got John Taylor in her sights. She's done it to me. She's done it to other people, and there's no need for it. It's just pure brutality. And when we do that, we're doing HAMPSTEAD's job.
Well, I'll send this video to her, and I'll because I've seen exactly what's happened. Sorry, on one comment here, I wrote a comment saying, Melanie, you do realise there's about 2 or 3 false accounts that are talking to you on this one post here, and then those 2 of those false accounts, they wrote 84 replies the last I saw. They said, Jake, are you going to answer my question?
She's being played. She's being played. She doesn't. She said that. She said in her messages, "I'm too naive, and people take advantage of that."
Yeah, she needs some wisdom, some love, yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you're giving her that, good for you. I'm doing my best. I'm just not going to have a slanging match. And
no.
I trust that it'll all come out in the wash.
And ask the angels, because I do believe. You know, when you said, should we meet at 4 or 5? I've got this little intuition that even numbers, like 4 has a certain elemental energy, 5 has a certain angel energy, you know. So
everybody loves you. Everybody loves you. You're just a little walking love.
Oh, thanks.
So, you know, it's good news. My son's gone to get my niece from the airport. I said, hold all your bags really tight.
Yeah.
And I'm okay. Do you know what I mean? I'm okay. We're okay. We're still here. And you're very brave. And the only thing I'd say to you, yes, by all means, get an evaluation of the impact of being trolled this viciously. But in the past, a tactic for silencing whistleblowers, if they couldn't trump up some charges and imprison them, the next best thing, particularly with mothers, they would section them under the Mental Health Act.
Yeah.
So it's a thin line. You can say, yes, this has caused me distress, anxiety, rage, whatever. But just don't get talked into saying, oh, yes, I'm mentally unstable, because you're not. Yeah. You're one of the sanest youngsters I've ever met, you know. So I love you to pieces. And this is the first Skype interview I've done. I'm still in a hotel, but it worked. Nothing. Thank God it worked.
Yeah.
And big loves to everybody. And I think it's fantastic that they got tomorrow adjourned. And the longer we have, the more evidence is piling up. Just tell everybody who has any kind of fake accounts coming at them or brutality, spamming. You know, I'm going to see the police again with all my evidence, poison pen letters and, you know, die bitch and all the stuff on YouTube as well. I've got it all, and I'm going to go and get a crime number now. And I was thinking I had to hurry to get it to the legal team for tomorrow. So the more time we've got, the better. That's brilliant.
Well, I've got crime number now as well, officially. So
good for you. Good for you. Well, that's good. It's so nice to talk to you. Send my love to everybody. And I don't hate anybody today. I'll leave it at that. All right, my darling.
Yeah, not even anyone. Let's just we hate aspects. We hate aspects.
I'm having a good day. Sometimes I'm hurt and I get angry, but no, it's not an angry day. It's a happy day. It's going to be my daughter's 30th. My niece is coming from London and her partner, and my kids are okay. And I want to get my son's song released. You know,
excellent.
I got to. So you take care of yourself and send my love to your parents, because they're just worried about you. Yeah. It is brave what you're doing.
They're worried about themselves as well, to be honest, because people want to know everything. And as soon as something becomes too much for their mind to comprehend, it seems like they'll find someone else as a scapegoat a little bit, unfortunately. So I don't want to point the finger, but I do reach out and I forgive anyone who's upset anybody else through their ignorance.
Good.
And I apologise. I apologise for my whenever I may have got something wrong, and my incompassionate, but ever learning, ever growing, ever growing love.
Absolutely. And there was something else I was going to say. Oh yeah, no, it comes back to what Elisa and Gabriel said. Fear is a mind killer, and everybody hits their fear. I'm going to lose my job. I'm going to lose my pension. They're going to bully me, destroy my reputation. I'm scared, and people have to go through that, and you can't make them go through it any quicker than they can process it. So
it's been lovely. Thank you. Thank you for your love and wisdom and everything.
You too. I love you to pieces.
Keep up the good work, the good fight.
You too. I've got more stuff coming, but I don't feel so pressurised now. So I've got some serious more evidence to release, and I will.
Excellent. Okay,
take
it steady.
All right.